Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're doing this. Real quick intro. This is a routine that I put together for my mom personally. She's recovering from a spinal fusion, so this exercise routine is great if you're recovering from that. It's also great if you're recovering from any sort of core surgery. I myself am only 4 months postpartum from a C-section, so I have to be very gentle in the core area as well, and I find this to be a very effective workout. As always though, before you start a new exercise regimen, especially if you're coming out of a surgery, do be sure to talk to your PT or your doctor if you have any plans to try anything. I am by no means a physical therapist or a doctor. I'm just a certified Pilates instructor. So this is just a short routine that I put together. We're going to work a little bit on our core, specifically our transverse abdominis, our pelvic floor, strengthening those backs. This is just overall really good exercise for your posture. So real quick before we get started, I kind of want to give you a real brief anatomy lesson about some of the things that we're working on. So some of the things we're working on today are our pelvic floor. I want you to think of your pelvic floor kind of like a sling. It sits here right along in your hip cavity, and it just kind of holds everything in there. So we're going to be working on engaging that. Some ways to engage that, you might think of like a Kegel, kind of like how you might, really tense your muscles up if you have to go to the bathroom. So that's when I'm saying engaging your pelvic floor, that's what I mean. We'll get into that a little bit more here in a second with some of our breathing exercises and our warm-up. And I also want to talk a little bit about our core muscles. So we have our abs, and what we really think about when we think of our abs is this area right here, your six-pack, or where your six-pack would be. And while six-packs are very nice to look at, I literally don't care about them at all. What we're focusing on today is called our transverse abdominis. So if you think of your core unit, it's kind of shaped like this. This is like your waistline if you're looking at it. Like if you slice me in half here and you're looking down, it's like this. So we've got our transverse abdominis here. This is what cages in all of our organs, as well as our spine, keeps us up nice and straight. And then you have your rectus abdominis here. This is your six-pack. So while this looks nice, the transverse abdominis, this nice inside part, is really a little more functional. It's more what we're concerned about. So we're going to be focusing on strengthening that today. This is another thing, if you're also postpartum, it's very important for you to do. So without further ado, I won't ramble on too much. When I get excited, I tend to ramble about things. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start seated for a little warm-up. I have some notes here, so if you see me referring to those, that's why. Everything today we're going to do 10 of. We're going to do 10 repetitions of everything, which I know seems like not very much, but this is just a very gentle return back to exercise as you go along. If you follow this video, you're more than welcome to go ahead and add in more repetitions, but for now we're just going to start with 10, and we're going to go ahead and start with our warm-up. So go ahead and take a seat. What you will need for this video is a chair. Any sort of chair will do. You'll also need a mat at some point. If you don't have a mat, I suggest a blanket or a really squishy towel. And then the last thing you will need is an exercise band here. So I have this kind of long rubber bandy one. If you have one of the ones that looks like a little piece of tubing, that's totally fine as well. Just nice exercise band. So we're gonna start seated. I want you to sit up nice and tall, give those shoulders a nice roll back and down. We're just gonna focus on warming up our transverse abdominis and our pelvic floor here. So I want you to just take the palms of your hands and you're gonna push against your knees. Almost like you're trying to raise your knees up off the floor, but your hands are saying no. And you're gonna feel that's gonna activate right this deep core here. So we're just gonna hold this for a count of 10. Make sure you're breathing nice and deep here. And we'll go ahead, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stay in this position. We're just going to cross our hands. We're going to press on the insides of our thighs here, just like we're trying to press our thighs open, but we're using our legs to help prevent that. Same thing here. We're warming up that transverse abdominis and that pelvic floor. So nice deep breaths. We're going to hold this for a count of 10 as well. 3, 2, and 1. Halfway through our warm-up. This time we're going to take our hands right around the front of our knees here. You can raise up onto the balls of your feet here like you're pointing your toes, and you're just going to feel like you're pulling those knees away and you're using those arms to keep them back together. We're gonna return back to that starting position with our hands on our thighs one last time, and we'll be all done with our warm-up. And one. All right, transverse abdominis, pelvic floor is nice and warmed up. We're gonna start very gently. We're gonna do some breathing exercises here that are also about healing that transverse abdominis and that pelvic floor. Chances are, if you're recovering from a spinal fusion or your postpartum, your pelvic floor and your TVA have taken a bit of a beating. They've been a little off center for a while. So again, we're gonna stay seated here. We're gonna do what's called active breathing. I want you to breathe in nice and deep to your chest, your stomach. Your core is like a canister. Really think of inflating your balloon here. And when you exhale, I want you to engage that pelvic floor like you're doing a Kegel. You're gonna feel that pelvic floor lift up from the inside. You're gonna feel all of your core muscles here really like corset together, like you're just zipping up a long zipper. So nice deep inhale and exhale. Breathe it nice and loud and proud for me. That way I know you're doing it. We're gonna do 10 of these. Nice deep inhale. Towards the end of that breath, you should feel that TVA really start to shake just a little bit. We've got 7 more. Really make sure you're inhaling nice and deep. I don't want anyone getting lightheaded. Three more here. And last one. Now, if you're just starting out, you're more than welcome to sit back further on your chair, use a little back support, that's totally fine. We're gonna go and move on here. We're gonna move into our pelvic floor breathing, what I like to call elevators. So think of your pelvic floor like an elevator. Remember I talked about lifting that up. I want you to think about lifting it up low, middle, and highest. And we're gonna hold it up at the highest there for the rest of our exhale. So take a nice deep inhale. Everything relaxed, we disengage. And exhale up. 1, 2, and 3. And inhale, relax, disengage. Everything goes back down. Let's do that 9 more times. You can take this at your own pace. You don't have to follow along with me. Six more here. Halfway done. Two more. And last one here. All right. And we are all done with our breathing exercises. We'll of course be doing some more exercises working on that TVA and that pelvic floor throughout our exercise, but for now, we're gonna go ahead and come on up to standing. We're gonna go ahead and get started with what I call prancing. I'm gonna turn sideways so that you can see me. If you need to here, you can grab on to your table or excuse me, your chair, or if you want, you can grab on to anything near you. So I want you to go ahead. We're going to keep our hands on our hips here so we know our hips are nice and steady, nice and level. And I want you to just go ahead and take your left heel up towards the sky, bend your knee. Perfect. Go ahead, take that down flat, and we're going to switch sides. Now this seems very simple, but I want you to really think when you lift this heel up off the ground, don't use your calf. Use your glutes. Think of the glutes like a chain reaction. You send that message to your glutes, it goes all the way down the leg and helps engage that calf. Perfect. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take this up a little faster beat. We're going to do 10 of these, so 10 on each side technically. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. We've got everything in our legs nice and warmed up. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into a squat. I know everybody hates squats, but they're so good for your glutes. The thing that you really need to focus on here is doing a correct squat. So I want you to keep an eye on my alignment here. I'm going to send these glutes back down behind me like I'm sitting into a chair. Watch my knees. They come forward a little bit, but they're never going to go further than my toes like this. So if you're doing a squat and you're feeling it all in your quads here, chances are you're not sending yourself back further enough. And if you need to hold on to something to stabilize yourself while you do that squat, you're more than welcome to. If you have knee issues, go for a smaller range of motion. If you're going like this, that's fine. You're still working your glutes. So let's go ahead and get started here. Nice deep breath. And as you exhale, engage that core, engage that pelvic floor as you're bringing it up. We've got 9. Perfect. This breathing pattern, 8, is how you should be breathing anytime you move into an exercise like this and throughout our daily lives. If you're picking up something heavy, you're picking up your kiddos, you're picking up that laundry basket, you're going to inhale on the way down, exhale, brace that core, brace that pelvic floor. I know that sounds like a lot to ask for. Halfway through, 5 more. But I promise, as you go along in your daily life, as you practice this breathing, it will become natural. You won't even think about it. And we've got 3, 2, and last one here. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and grab our exercise band here. So I'm gonna face you. Now with the exercise band, the closer you hold together, the more resistance you have, the heavier tension. Farther apart, the easiest. So just go ahead, play with it, see what works for you. We're just gonna take it out right in line with our shoulders here. I like to wrap mine around so that I have a nice good grip. You're welcome to do what you like. So shoulders are back and down. I'm gonna tell you that multiple times throughout this because we all need that reminder. We're gonna do a little lat pull. So nice deep inhale. And exhale, engage that pelvic floor and that core, and just take those arms straight out to the side. Doesn't have to be huge, it can be a couple inches. That's gonna activate your lat muscles. They're all along your rib cage here, right underneath those armpits. They connect into your obliques. They're responsible for keeping you up nice and straight. They're part of your posture. And chances are, I've got 6 more by the way, I'm still counting, don't worry. Chances are, if you have scoliosis, like myself, one side is going to be a little weaker than the other. So we really want to focus on trying to even that out, strengthen up as much as we can. We've got 4. Really the key with all of these exercises is that I want you to go slow and controlled. 3. If you ever want to make anything harder, you go slower. There's certainly a time and a place for fast and quick repetitions in exercise. Healing and post-rehab work is not it. And that was our last one there. Perfect. All right. We're going to go ahead and work a little bit on our back muscles here. So I want you to just go ahead and stand on your band. A little bit of tension there. We're going to go for an upright row. So hands are going to come up right here, kind of into your armpits. Your elbows are going to go back behind you. Make sure you're standing up nice and tall here. Nice deep inhale. And exhale, engage. Perfect. Now this is working on those rhomboids. Those are those muscles right in between your shoulder blades. Throughout our lives, we spend a lot of time stooped over things like kiddos, grandkids, computers, desks, steering wheels. So we tend to get a little stooped forward, a little hunched over with age. So here we're just strengthening up those muscles, bringing those shoulders back where they belong. You're halfway there. 5. Perfect. You're going slow and controlled. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to go ahead and turn sideways for this next one so you can see me. We're going to hinge forward. Now, if you have a spinal fusion, you probably don't need to tell me, you probably don't need me to tell you to bend over. So just hinge from those hips. Back is nice and straight here. Shoulders are still back and down. Chest is proud. Hinge forward just as far as you need. You can bend those knees just a little bit if you want. We're going to go for a wide row. So very similar to what we were just doing. But this time, our hands will come in right by our rib cage here, right along that waistline. This is also working our rhomboids. Really pinch those shoulder blades together in the back. Perfect. We've got 8 more. All right, 5 more, halfway there. And 3, 2, last one here, and done. Perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna attach our band to something stable. I'm gonna just go ahead and use the stairwell right here. You can use a table leg, stairwell as well if you have one. A doorknob even works. Just make sure it's nice and stable. It's not gonna come back and hit you in the face. So I'm gonna do this facing you forward. I'm gonna turn so you can see me from on the side in a second because that is the correct way to do this, but so that you can kind of see what we're doing. So this exercise is called draw a sword. It's one of Certified Pilates exercises. I want you to keep your arm here. We've got this nice 90-degree angle. This is where we start. This is our starting point. Take that elbow out to the side, like your Black Friday shopping. You're pushing someone out of the way, and then you go ahead, straighten your arm on out. Just like you're drawing a sword from that scabbard. You're gonna feel this right along that lat again, as well as right in your shoulder here. So again, if you need to come out a little further, you need a little less tension, just come further away from your anchor point. If you need more, just come in a little closer. So we're gonna do 10 on this side. Nice deep breaths to start, and exhale, engage. Elbow out, take that arm out straight. Perfect. If you feel like you can't get that full range of motion, come in a little closer. You just need a little less tension. I would much rather you get the full range of motion than you work yourself too hard and you don't get the full benefit of the exercise. Make sure that shoulder's staying down too. Sometimes it gets a little creepy. We're halfway there. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Go ahead, grab that band with both hands. I like to really wrap it around here, kind of clasp them together. We're going to come right in line with our anchor point here. I like to take my feet into a staggered position here. So I've just got one in front, one behind me. I like to put the foot that's closest to the anchor point in front. And we're just gonna do a little push forward here. So we've got this nice and sturdy here, nice and firm. Nice deep inhale, shoulders back. And exhale, push it out straight. Inhale, bring it back. Now I know this seems like it maybe is not doing enough. And if it's not, take yourself a little further out. But what it is doing, I'll show you, is activating this oblique all along this side. So if you don't feel like that's happening, just come a little further away. We've got 9. Really focus on keeping those hips squared. Don't let yourself rotate or turn or pivot That's the whole point of this exercise, is to really use that oblique with some force in the opposite direction. 6 more here. Make sure that pelvis is staying tucked. We're keeping our spine and our alignment nice and straight. 4 more here. Last 2. And 1. Perfect. Okay, we're going to go ahead, flip it around. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're just going to start with that draw sword again. So go ahead, grab your band. Elbow is at a nice 90-degree angle here, right across your stomach. Taking that elbow out to the side, elbowing that lady out of the way on Black Friday, and taking that arm out straight. Perfect. 9 more here. Now you may notice, I can move back just a little. You may notice one side is a little weaker than the other, and that is perfectly okay. That is perfectly normal. None of us are completely even. That's the whole point of these exercises. We've got 6 more. Is that we're going to find those little places of weakness and we're going to focus on them to strengthen them. Now, if you find that one side is far weaker than the other, 4 more. I want you to pause when we're done, and you're going to go ahead and do 5 more, 2 more exercises here. You're going to do 5 more repetitions of each of these exercises on your weaker side. All done. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and move into that push. Take that leg back. We're going to spend a little, now if you do pause and you go to the other side, we're going to spend a little extra time on that weaker side to really strengthen it up, and it is okay to do that. Shoulders nice back and down. Nice deep inhale. And exhale, push. Should really be feeling your core activating here. If you're not feeling that, go ahead and move a little further away from the anchor point. Halfway there. Two more, and then we're going to take it down to the floor. All right, drop that band. We're going to come down to our floor here. Here's where you will need your mat, your blanket, your towel, whatever you're using. I have mine doubled because I'm short. I can kind of get away with that. We're going to come down to a quadruped position on our hands and on our knees. Now, if you have knee issues, you're more than welcome to double up your mat or your blanket like I have. You can even triple, quadruple it up, whatever you need just to cushion those knees. So let's go ahead, come on down. Hands are right in line with our shoulders here. Knees are right underneath our hips, and we're making sure that our pelvis is tucked, our spine is nice and long. We're going to go ahead and do some fire hydrants here. It's kind of a crass name, but you'll understand exactly why they call it that once I get into it. We're going to go ahead and we'll start with our left up to one side. Perfect. Now, as you lift, you're going to exhale. You're going to engage that core. You're going to engage that pelvic floor. This is another exercise that is great for that pelvic floor. So go ahead, tuck that chin. You might give yourself a little double chin, but it's okay. You're at home. No one can see it. So nice deep breath. And we'll go for 10. Again, nice and slow and controlled. Make sure those hips are staying square to the floor. You're not opening up to the side. Three more on this side. And that is 10. Perfect. We're just going to switch sides. I'm going to go to my right. Everything else stays the same. Take a minute here, make sure that that pelvis and that chin are still in alignment. Nice deep breath. And go ahead, take it on up. Two more here. All right. One more exercise in this quadruped position. I'm going to move myself away from my chair a little bit here. Make sure that that core is nice and strong. That pelvis is still tucked. We're not going into that little anterior tilt, sticking that butt out. We're going to do a little bird dog slide. So I'm going to take my right hand, left foot. They're going to slide on out. Exhale, bring them back in. I like to exhale for the entire exercise here, and then I take a little pause. When I get back to the starting position, I inhale, but do what feels right for you. We're going to do 10 again, and then we'll switch sides. So nice deep breath. And go ahead. You'll be feeling this in your core, especially right in this low region right here. We're halfway there. Last one. Perfect. Take that second to pause, adjust your position if you feel like you need it. We're going to go ahead and go into the other side. And then we have one more exercise here in our quadruped position. Nice deep breath. And exhale, go ahead. Halfway there. Make sure you're really stable here. If you find yourself kind of rocking side to side, that generally means your core is not quite as active as it should be. So if you find that happening, really take a second to check in. Last one here. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead, scoot my mat down just a little bit here. We're going to go into a modified plank. Planks are one of the best exercises you can do. I know everybody hates them, but they love you so much. We're going to do it on our knees. If you feel ready, you want to go into that full plank, you certainly can, but we're going to keep it nice and gentle here. Hands are right below those shoulders. Once again, we're going to be on our knees, so go ahead, take those legs on out. If you need to double, quadruple, whatever your mat here, go ahead and do so. I want you to go ahead, tuck that chin, double chin, no one can see it. Look right before your fingertips. That'll keep that spine nice and long. Shoulder blades back and down. Squeeze those glutes. Tuck that pelvis under slightly. Core is engaged. Rib cage is knitted together. We're not popping open. Nice deep breaths here. We're going to hold this for 10, for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring it on back to that quadruped position. That was great, guys. Plank is a very hard exercise. I'm really glad that we were able to push in that little baby plank there. It's only going to get easier and get stronger from here, I promise. Now that we've done our front plank, we're going to go ahead and do a side plank. I'm going to come over onto my left side here, or excuse me, my right side. You have a couple options here. You can be on your hand if you ever have any wrist issues. You're welcome to come down onto your elbows for that plank as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on my elbow here so you can see. Knees are bent. Thighs are nice and in line with my core here. Nice deep breath, and go ahead, bring it on up. I like to bring my top hand back up to my ear here so that I know I'm not falling down towards the floor. Shoulder blades back and down. Nice deep breath here. Everything is really engaged everywhere, but especially on this right side. We're gonna hold this for 10, for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring it on down. Nice job, you guys. You may notice that your pelvic floor and your core is continuously engaged throughout that exercise. We never actually completely relax it or release it. It's always at least a little engaged. So we're gonna go ahead and stay on this side here. We're gonna really focus on strengthening your piriformis muscles right here. They're part of your pelvic floor. They get very weakened over time, and they're what helps stabilize you. They stabilize your hips. Strengthening them can help prevent falls from later in life. So we're just gonna go ahead, lay on down here. Head is on your bicep like a pillow. Now if this is uncomfortable, you can grab an actual pillow, that's a-okay. Your knees are bent and they're tucked up towards your chest this time. They're not in line. We've got a nice 90-degree angle here at our hips. Shoulder is back and down. I like to keep my hand here to make sure that this hip is not coming up in towards my rib cage as we do this. We're gonna go for some clamshells. Feet and ankles stay together. Knee is just gonna go up towards the ceiling like you're opening a book. Nice deep breath. And exhale, engage. Perfect. Clamps strengthen that outer thigh, that piriformis. They strengthen that inner thigh. And 3. Perfect. 4. Going for 10 of everything. 5, halfway there on this side. Clams are one of Joseph Pilates' original Pilates exercises. There's a reason they've been around for about 100 years now, and that's because they work, they're effective. Let's go for 3 more. And 2. And 1. Perfect. Go ahead, take those legs on out straight. We're going to go ahead and lift our top leg up just a little bit, just so it's in line with that hip. Nothing crazy. We're not in a Jane Fonda video. All right. Hip is still in line. It hasn't come up. We're going to lift our lower leg up to meet our top one. Nice deep breath. And exhale, engage. This is also great for that pelvic floor. This is very similar to what those elevators were doing to your pelvic floor earlier. Perfect. We've got 7 more here. Now, if your greater trochanter, that's the little bony protrusion right here on your thigh, if the lower one starts to hurt, you can go ahead, add a little cushion there. Just double up your mat if you need to. Halfway there. I know this one's a hard one. Two more. All right, go ahead, bring that leg on down. At this point, if you'd like, you can go ahead and bend that lower knee. Sometimes that helps with stability. If you find yourself unable to stabilize, I like to keep mine out. We're just gonna go for lifts with that upper leg, but again, no Jane Fonda, we're not going up here, nothing crazy. We're just going to about 4 or 6 inches above the floor. We're gonna do 10 of those. So 10. And I know this looks so simple, it looks like you're not doing anything at all, but I know I'm starting to feel it, which means you're starting to feel it. And chances are, as we move into the other side, halfway there, you will notice that one side here is weaker than the other as well. And that's a-okay. You can go ahead and pause it after this if you want, and you can do about 5 more exercises on each side if you need to. 2 more. We're gonna hold it up here on this last one. I'm only gonna torture you for a second. We're gonna go for little pulses, just 10 small pulses, up an inch, down an inch, nice and slow and controlled. Keep pulling. If you need to take a break, go ahead. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woo! Go ahead, bring it on down. The good news is we're gonna move to our back for a little while. We're gonna take a little break before we go on to that other side. So I'm just gonna squish my mat back up here a little bit. Go ahead, move onto my back here. Get yourself down in any way that is comfortable and safe for you. We're gonna go into a bridge. This is one of the most effective exercises you can do for your glutes, your hamstrings, your piriformis, your inner thighs, your pelvic floor, your core. It's such a great move for you. We're gonna go ahead, inhale, exhale, bring it on up. We're gonna hold it up here. Now we're gonna go for some abductions. We're gonna take our thighs out and in. Small and controlled, perfect. 3, 4, 5. Do not roll out onto the outsides of your feet. Keep those nice and firm and planted. You're moving from the ankle here. Got 3 more. And last one, go ahead, bring it on down. All right. We're gonna go ahead, go back to working on that core a little bit more. I want you to bring your legs up into a tabletop here. Nice 90-degree angle here with your hips. Nice 90-degree angle here with your knees. You should be able to press your lower back flat into the floor. If you're not feeling that, bring your knees in just a little bit. Like I mentioned before, I had a C-section about 4 months ago. My lower core still needs a little help, so I need to bring my knees in a little bit more to protect that lower back. If you need to, go ahead. We're gonna go ahead, keep that nice bend in your knee here. I just want you to take 1 foot down towards the floor. See how my knee never moves. I'm just releasing that leg from my hip. We're gonna go for 20 all together, so 10 on each side. So go ahead, we're gonna go for 20, 19, 18, 20. Really focus on keeping that lower back flat on the floor. You're halfway there. If you need to take a break, you need to pause, go ahead. My core is starting to shake. Chances are yours are too. Almost there. Last one on each side. Ooh, you made it. Great job. We've got one more core exercise here. It's a very simple, easy one. You can keep your feet here. If you want a little extra challenge, you can bring them back up into that tabletop position. Arms are just going to go straight out in line with those shoulders, like your little tin soldier here. Keep those shoulder blades back and down on the floor. Lower back is pressed into the mat. Don't let it come up. We're just going to take our arms back and bring them back in line with those shoulders. You're going to feel this all along your core. As long as you're doing it right, you're engaging that TVA. You're keeping that lower back flat on the floor. You're going to feel this. So nice deep breath. And go ahead and go. Exhale, engage. Seems so simple, but as long as you're engaging that core, you're going to feel it shake. We've got 9 more. I like to inhale here and exhale through the whole movement. Going slow and controlled. You're halfway there. Two more. Last one. All right, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and go to that other side. If you're at home, just go ahead, flip on over. I'm gonna just go ahead, flip around here so that you can see me. You can still see everything I'm doing. We're gonna do those same sideline series that we did earlier, starting with that side plank. So again, on your elbow if you'd like, that's where I like to be. Legs are nice and in line here. Nice deep breath. And exhale, Go ahead and engage. We're gonna hold this for 10, for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring it down. I have great news for you guys. After we finish this sideline series here, we're gonna go into our stretches. We're almost done. Head on top of that bicep like a pillow. Hip is nice and square here. Knees are up and towards your chest. We're gonna start with those clams. Take that knee on up towards the ceiling. Perfect. Exhale, engage. Inhale, relax. Have you noticed which side is stronger yet? For me, it's my right side. I could do these all day. Left side wants to wither and die immediately. So at this point in the video, if I wanted, and I do, I would go ahead and take a pause. 3 more. And I would do 5 extra of all of these sideline series on my other side, just to even out, strengthen those weak muscles. Last one here, and you're done. Go ahead, take those legs on out straight. Top leg is gonna come up just a couple inches here, just in line with that hip, and we're gonna lift and lower the bottom leg to really work that pelvic floor. Inhale and exhale, engage. Last one. All right, almost done. We've just got to do those lifts and lower on our top leg. So again, if you want to bend that bottom knee, you're more than welcome to. So nice deep breath, and go ahead, lift that top leg on up. Three more. Now remember, we're gonna hold it up on that last one. So we've got 9 and 10. Hold it up. We're gonna go for those little pulses, up an inch, down an inch, small, slow, and controlled. Halfway here. 9 and 10. You're done. All right, go ahead, come on up. We're gonna do a couple standing stretches here for just a quick second, and then we'll come on back to our chair. Take your time getting up. I don't want any googly eyes. So we're gonna go ahead, I'll turn to the side so you can see me here. We're gonna stretch out our hip flexors here. So I'm gonna leave my right foot here firmly planted. Left foot goes back like you're going into a little lunge. Again, you can grab onto something if you need to. Bend into that right knee. Left leg stays nice and straight. Try to take that heel down to the floor as far as you can. You're gonna feel that as a nice deep stretch in your calf. And then squeeze this left glute. That's what's gonna help activate that stretch in your hip flexor here. Couple deep breaths here. Go ahead, bring it on in. Other leg goes back. Again, try to take that foot down towards the floor, get that nice calf stretch, and squeeze that right glute. A few deep breaths here. All right, we're gonna go ahead, come on back to our chair here. We're gonna take a quick figure 4 stretch. So I want you to take your right ankle on top of your left knee. And just go ahead and hinge forward here. Just hinge from your hips, keep that back nice and flat, just as far as feels comfortable. You'll feel that all along the stretch in your side and that piriformis that we were just working. Nice deep breaths here. When we breathe deeply, it relaxes our central nervous system. It allows you to stretch and relax a little deeper. One more nice deep breath here. Go ahead, bring it on back to seated. We're gonna switch that on out, left ankle to right knee. And again, hinge forward, keep that back nice and straight. You're gonna feel this all on your glute, that side of your hip. Nice deep breaths. We're almost done. We've got one more stretch after this. Last breath here. Bring that foot on back. We're gonna go for a little Titanic stretch here. Go ahead, grab the back of your chair. I need to scooch back just a little bit. Grab the back of your chair right around the sides and just go ahead, press that chest forward. Nice proud chest here. You're gonna feel the stretch all along your chest. Make sure you're not bending anywhere you shouldn't be. If you have a cervical or if you have a fusion right along your thoracic spine here, I would recommend that you do not do this. Nice deep breath here. And we are all done. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed strengthening and stretching a little bit of your body and moving your body in any way you could. I really appreciate you being here. If you're interested in me putting together a specialized program just for you based on your needs, I'm more than happy to do that. You can contact me by messaging me or emailing me. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much.